Dean Curry here, Fantasy Football RSVP. So let's get right to it with Buy Low, Sell High Week 5 here in the NFL. We're going to start with 3 on the buy low and 3 on the sell high. We're going to talk about it as far as the extended list. You can become a VIP member for $7.77. Not a lot of money, but you get to have the expert Dean Curry giving you advice to win your league and crush your competition. It's just that simple. And all you got to do is become a patron for the full list, and you get lots of things. You get to speak in our chat room. You get to speak to me directly. We get to go over your list, your trading list, how to trade, who to trade for. Basically, we take care of all your needs, and you're going to crush your competition, hands down. So let's get to the short list here, which I give away for free for the buy low, sell high. The 3 I like on the buy low, I really like David Montgomery of the Bears. They've been having some really tough matchups. People, you have to look at the matchups. You know why? And he's actually doing not bad. And his carries are getting more each week. And the Chicago Bears, they're still figuring things out. I know Trubisky, took a fall and things like that, but I think that'll work itself out. And I just think the offense is still going to run pretty much the same way. And their backup's good. And David Montgomery, that means he's just going to get more carries, So the bottom line is the guy looks like he's about to break out. And you can't just watch red zone or these type of things. You got to actually tape these games. Just get them taped, and watch them on speed dial. Like, watch them fast, like play to play, fast. I can't sit and watch a whole game, but I'll tape a game and, then I'll watch it like in fast motion, and, stuff like that. Cause you gotta see the trends, you gotta see what's going on. But David Montgomery, I mean, this is a guy you could get right now, as a buy low candidate, meaning, his numbers have been low enough where you could get really, you could get good value for him, So I would definitely pick up David Montgomery. I think that's my number 1. As far as number 2, this is a stash now. You have to think a few weeks down the road. I really like Ronald Jones. He had a great offseason, a great preseason, and he had a great first game, and then the second game, not so much, and now the third and fourth game, I mean, he just looks like the man. Now, if you watch the games, you got to watch the games. If you watch the games, you would realize that in that second game, he got a little bit banged up on the sideline. So they started giving it to Barber, and a lot of people don't realize that, asking me, Deanie, it's the second game, it's, he's playing the hot hand. Go, no, he got banged up that game, because I watched the game. And so they pulled him and were being careful with him, but the last 2 games they're going, and I'm not saying start him, but you should definitely pick him up, put him on your bench, because this guy might be a starter, like getting the early downs, not giving up to Barber, getting the early downs, very, very soon. And, you'd rather be too early to have him on your bench. And if he keeps putting up numbers like this, I mean, he's also trade value. Even if he's on your bench and he keeps putting up big numbers, you could trade him, So I really, really like Ronald Jones. And I just think by the end of the year, he's just going to be this, not even the end of the year, like next couple of games, he's going to be, a full-time starter. So I really like him. And the third one, someone you got to focus on, is Le'Veon Bell. Whoever is a Le'Veon Bell owner right now, trust me, they're frustrated. They're panicking. Okay, they don't realize that when Sam Darnold, you have to understand what happened to the Jets. Jets are a decent football team, not a great football team, but they're decent. They lost their quarterback and they lost their backup. Trevor Siemian was a good backup. I'm not saying he's a phenomenal quarterback, anything like that, but he would have done a decent job coming in, and he would have held the fort together until Sam Darnold came back, and maybe they would have won a game or 2. Okay, but what happened was Darnold got mono, Trevor Siemian got injured in the very first game, and they put the third string in that was getting no reps, no football experience, NFL experience, pretty much whatsoever. And they put him in, and, he didn't get to practice with the first team. He didn't know what was going on. He was the third stringer, and that could happen to any team. I mean, put the third stringer in, on any team, and they're going to struggle, and it's not like the Jets were like a Super Bowl contender to begin with. But when something like that happens, it's putting so much pressure on Le'Veon Bell, and once you get Sam Darnold back in a week or two, and this guy starts throwing the ball around, some of you guys had Jamison Crowder. That was a great pick. He got 13 targets his first game. I knew he was going to have a big year. And all of a sudden, you get the second, third, quarterback in there, and now they're afraid to throw the ball downfield. A lot of people got rid of Jamison Crowder. He's on your waiver wire. You might want to think of picking him back up before Darnold comes back and starts flinging the ball all over the place and starts throwing 10, 12, 13 targets to Jamison Crowder, which he would have been a steal this year. And, some people lost on that. That's how it goes. We give a lot of great advice here, as much advice as we can. This advice helps a lot of people win. But let's be honest. There's a certain degree of luck involved in fantasy football. You could have the greatest, players, across the board, and, things could just go wrong. Injuries, things you didn't anticipate. Nobody, things like Aaron Rodgers, for example, he's finished 1 or 2 the last 5 years when he wasn't injured in fantasy, and he starts his year off, looked terrible the first 3 games. It was like almost like panicking. He was the reason why a lot of people lost. And then game 4, he just, went off. Aaron Rodgers. Same with Devontae Adams, again. And sometimes you have to wait these things out, but it's easier to wait things out when you're 3-0 or 3-1. But if you're not, and you're 0-3 or whatever the case may be, you need a win. You can't afford to wait around and say, hey, let's hope Aaron Rodgers works out. And let's hope Devontae Adams works out. Or, whatever the case may be. It's a different scenario because the season's shorter than you think. And you can't go 0-5 or 0-6. You're pretty much done at that point, So those are things to think about. I love Le'Veon Bell. Once Darnold comes back, it's going to take the pressure off him. Bell's numbers are going to climb. If you could get your hands on Le'Veon Bell now, trust me, any Le'Veon Bell holder is frustrated right now. Okay, and he's there for the taking. So that's on the buy low. We have about 7 or 8 more names for patron owners, $7, 77 cents a month. And you get a ton of stuff. You get to speak to me directly. We get to go over your lineup card each week. We get to talk about trades. We get to go over other people's lineup cards, so on and so forth. You just go to www.fantasyfootballrsvp.com and you just hit the button, sign up as a patron, and then you get the one-on-one. And instead of getting 3 names, you'll get 10 names or 9 names on the buy low, and on the sell high, instead of getting 3 names, you'll get 10. And that's how it goes. I always like to, give away some things complimentary. So let's talk about the 3 on the sell side. Complimentary, I really like the sell high, meaning, you're selling a player that's doing well, but you're not sure he's going to keep doing well, but his numbers are high, so you want to get rid of him now before they start to drop, and that would be Leonard Fournette. The Jags have been performing, pretty well, not bad, and, they're doing a lot better than people think, but, and Minchell is doing really well, the quarterback, but the thing is, their offensive line has some real issues, okay? And it's like the same thing with the Bengals with Mixon. Mixon struggling because the offensive line is struggling, and that might be another name. If he has a decent week, you might want to unload him. Although I think in a Mixon case, their situation might get better as the year goes on, and they might figure things out. They just lost some people on the offensive line, but. The Jags, a lot of people think they're doing well, but you have to watch the games and know what's going on and see what's going on. And, they're really not their offensive line's got some real issues, and that's going to affect Fournette. Not to mention his injury history. The guy always gets injured, and I'm a Fournette fan. I mean, I love the way he runs and stuff like that, but that reckless abandoned style. Sometimes you got to navigate that a little bit as a running back, and not try to run people over all the time. I know that's the way he plays, but it also leads to a lot of injuries. And, hopefully he stays healthy this year. Because I love watching a guy play when he's healthy. But with their offensive line, if he has a decent week like he had last week, now is the time to let him go. He's got a good name. He's put up some good numbers last week and, some of the other weeks. And so right now, those are, and they have some tough matchups coming up soon, the Jags. You got to look at that as well ahead. You have to come from many different angles here and start looking at matchups ahead. He's definitely a sell high, and he's got name recognition. You get a lot for Leonard Fournette right now. As far as another player, right now, one of my, I guess, best sell highs, I was going to save it for my VIP room, but it's Jarvis Landry. If you are a Jarvis Landry owner, sell, and sell some more. Something is definitely wrong with the Cleveland Browns. I don't care if they beat the Ravens. If you watched the game, a couple of plays here and there, that was a totally different game. I'm not taking anything away from the Cleveland Browns. They got some players I like, Mayfield and, Odell and even Landry. And I'm not blaming them, and I'm not blaming the coaching staff, but something just doesn't seem right. And, they finally got back to the running game, which was good. But something just, if you watch the game, something, they won the game. But something just doesn't look right, with the passing game. And, I mean, the Chubb running's fine, but something just, and that's a huge win. You got to give them credit, and you got to take the wins with the Ravens. Not a lot of people thought they had a chance. But if you're a Jarvis Landry, holder, what happened last year with Jarvis Landry. When he was the number one, should have been getting a lot of targets, and they didn't. And he didn't. But they were still winning games, the Bears. And the quarterback, Mayfield, still had a good year. But Landry's numbers were way down. Now, I mean, that guy should be wide open. With Odell in there, he should be getting like 14 targets a game because they're double teaming Odell the whole game. And he's not. And he had a much better game last game. But I think you're going to see a lot of, numbers wrong. And it's kind of hard to put a finger on it. What's wrong in Cleveland. I'm sure they're saying that in Cleveland. But don't let it go to your head as far as this win. They, looked better this past week, but keep an eye on them because there's something just not, meshing there. And if you're a Jarvis Landry, you could not sell Jarvis Landry at a higher price right now. He's not going to have another week like this. If he does, they're going to be few and far between. And he has name recognition. So right now, and they just came off a big win, right now you could probably get someone really decent for Jarvis Landry because his numbers, are going to go down. Yeah, for sure. As far as the third one, actually, this is also probably a tie with Jarvis Landry as far as which one I think is the pick of the week. I would probably have to go with Stefon Diggs. There is something wrong in Cleveland, but there's something really wrong in Minnesota. I mean, even Thielen after the game is on tape. Like, he even said, you gotta know how to throw the football. I mean, you can't even say that about your quarterback. I mean, Cousins has shown he could throw the ball. He threw pretty well in Washington, but something is going on there in I don't know if it's the way they're coaching or if it's the quarterback or I don't know. But there's games where he's throwing for 100 yards. Not even. Cousins. And yeah, they're winning games. But and they're running the ball and they have a great defense. But there's something definitely not working in Minnesota. And anyone who watches the games, there's just nothing going on in the passing game. You have Thielen and Diggs, and you're not throwing to these guys. I mean, I'm not a coach. I'm a fantasy football podcaster, and a fan like everyone listening to this. But I mean, how do you not throw to Diggs and Thielen? I mean, come on. These guys are wide open, and they're getting no targets. And if anyone's going to get targets moving forward, it's going to definitely be Adam Thielen. It's not going to be Stefon Diggs. He's coming off a big week last week, and right now is the time to sell Stefon Diggs because he's getting like 4 targets a game, 5 targets a game, like not even some games. But more than that, you have to look outside the box. There's just something wrong, in Minnesota. And I hate to be so blunt because they have players I like. I like Cousins. He used to perform really well. And I'm not even saying it's his fault. It's just something is definitely wrong there. And you got to look at that trend. You can't just sit there hoping Thielen will work out. Right now, Thielen's a buy. Thielen's a buy low. Unless someone just is so infatuated with his name that you might get some name recognition on a sell high. But he's on my buy low because I don't think if his numbers might actually go up. That's why I'm putting him as a buy low. But he could be a sell high too if someone really loves the guy. But right now, Stefon Diggs is coming off a big, week, fantasy football week. But if anyone's going to get the targets, it's Thielen because of the route running he does and slot and in and out more than Diggs. But right now, Stefon Diggs is definitely a sell high. So there's about 6 or 7 other names. There's a video I'm dropping on our private chat room on Facebook. It's a paid room. Again, it's $7.77. And you get to be part of these secret videos where I talk about buy low, sell candidates. But I put about 9 or 10 people on both sides, not 3. But I give away a few that you guys could enjoy. And definitely sign up. Definitely join up. I mean, what's $7.77 a day? Like 30 cents a day? I mean, a month. Like $7.77 a month. It's like 30 cents a day, 25 cents a day. And you'll win. That's the bottom line. You'll win your league, And I'm very good at this. So anyway, enjoy the video. To join as a private patron, support the show sort of thing, and support your winning strategy, you just go on www.fantasyfootballrsvp.com. I'm Dean Curry. We're doing great things here. We're making people win their league. You just got to get everything together, and develop the best strategy. So have yourself a wonderful day.